Alright, hey guys, this is my really important video. It's my
I'm gonna kill myself.
story. Ignore my sibling in the background.
I'm actually gonna kill myself. What the flip just happened? What the
Yeah,
flip just happened?
the trigger warnings are at the beginning and in the description, and they'll flash on the screen. No, they won't. Don't believe that. I'm not editing this. But yeah, this is my story on someone who's currently on this platform, and I've made a bunch of posts about them too, and they will not leave me alone. But, and I'm sorry if my timeline's inconsistent, but, sometimes I remember things, while talking about other things. But, yeah, here's, the entire story of me and this person. So, this person, Apollo, I will name them. I will call them out by name, because they have no power here. Luckily, I don't know them in person, so they truly have no power here. So, Paul and I met, through one of my current exes, because then my ex had issues, so me and Apollo had issues. And at some point, after I left my ex, Apollo and I became friends, which was probably not a good decision. I will disclose ages. I was 13 or 14 at the time, and Apollo was 15 or 16 at the time. I think 16. And we grew close, and at some point, we started dating. I told him I didn't mind the age gap, and that the age gap was fine, because I'm okay with a 2 or 3 year age gap. That's the most I will go for an age gap for me. But, yeah. And after a while, I realized that I was not happy with the relationship, so I left. And they became highly obsessive. They changed everything about themselves to be like me. Their Discord status, their Discord bio, everything. And I was uncomfortable, and I didn't know how to deal with it at the time. So I just asked them not to, and it didn't work. And at some point, I ended up being their friend again just to get it to stop. And it stopped. And they found out I was a system, and they met some of us, and it was decent for a while. And then I don't fully remember what happened. I think I came to a realization that the friendship was doomed from the start. So I left again. And to me and a bunch of my friends, who are also systems, they faked being a system. They faked having the ID to a bunch of systems to their face. And we called them out on it, and they were not happy. So then I was free for a few days or a week, and then they came back apologizing, begging to be friends again. And so I did. And once you're groomed once, it's easy to fall back into that rabbit hole with the same person. Because that's what they were doing. They were grooming me and my friends. After knowing I was a system, they had met one of our revivers, Sarek. He's still here. And these are things that I've seen myself and have heard from him. So they had met, and Apollo had fell in love with him and confessed to him. And he himself said that he wasn't comfortable with it, considering Apollo was not legal in my state, even. And he was an adult in Headspace, so he wasn't comfortable with it. And we're bodily 13 at the time. 14, maybe. But then Apollo continues to, be romantic and sexual towards him. So, with how, passive he was and how, much of a pushover he was, he went along with it. He now does understand that that's wrong, and he has apologized profusely for it, and such. But yeah, and at some point, Apollo decided to text us and be like, hey, I don't want Sarek anymore. I'm done. And then they blocked us, and that was that. And then they changed, and then that obsessive behavior came back. His face claim was their profile picture and Discord banner. He was their status, their username, their about me, everything. And it was making him uncomfortable because he had found a partner, one that he really loved, Pyro, who sadly has split. But I do have some stories about Apollo and Pyro as well, because obviously I can't be the only one who's hurt here, and neither can Sarek. So at some point, we unblocked Apollo, who, by the way, made a rude joke to Pyro because Pyro had lost his wings and headspace, and he was sad about them, venting about them even, and Apollo responded with L can't fly, so Pyro made a joke back, and it was L can't walk, and that made Apollo cry because apparently they can make mean offensive jokes, but none of us can make them back. At some point, though, they did unblock us and apologized, and we accepted their apology like an idiot. And this time they not only asked for Sarek, but Pyro as well. And they both went, sure, why not? Still don't want a date, but sure, we could do the friends with benefits thing again. And that's what they did. Now see, Pyro is a hypnotist. I know that sounds really stupid, but bear with me, please. And Apollo was fine with that, has expressed multiple times and continues to express it to not only me, but other people in the system, that they are fine with it and they want to be hypnotized. So there was much consent here. And so that's what Pyro did. And from what I've seen and what I've witnessed myself, nothing horrible was done. From what I've visually seen, all that he did was make Apollo sleep one night because it was late and he cared. And at some point, Sarek had to stop fronting because of in-system issues, and Pyro realized that there was an issue with him and Apollo. And so Apollo cut it off with both of them, blocked us, and then made their entire profile and account all about Pyro and Sarek all over again. And they continued to complain to our friends, being like, I really miss Pyro and Sarek, I want them back. And then whenever Pyro and Sarek would be like, you can have us back, they'd respond with, no, ew, gross. Because, you know, you want something, but you don't want it, you know? So at some point, we just genuinely stopped talking to them. We stopped giving them any attention, and then they, I'm pretty sure, hit us where it hurt, because that's what they've tended to be able to do to get us to respond. And they demanded to talk to Sarek because they were uncomfortable with how Sarek treated them. And they claimed that Pyro raped them because he used hypnotism on them. We don't know them. Okay, 1, don't know them in person. They live in a completely different state. 2, again, the worst he's done is make them sleep one night. 3, they fully consented to being hypnotized each and every time. So, I don't know what they're on about. But according to them, at some point, hypnotism is rape. So. But yeah, they eventually talked to Sarek and explained that they were uncomfortable with how Sarek had treated them in the past. And he explained that he was truly sorry and he never meant to do any harm. And he was, again, truly sorry for everything he did. And Apollo continued to claim, you groomed me. And he continued to explain that, no, he didn't. Because he was being genuinely kind to Apollo. Not having any ill intent with his grooming. Having ill intent with someone and trying to, like, be nice to them only for your own personal wants and needs. Which is what they've done to us multiple times. And so we eventually blocked them again after all that. And they came back and apologized. And we said, sure, why not? And they didn't want Pyro Sarek this time. We had a, Schlatt alter. He was a factive, so based off the streamer. And him and Apollo had met. And they had actually started dating. And he seemed happy, so we assumed Apollo had genuinely changed. And then, one of my friends, who was also fallen victim to Apollo, sent us a screenshot saying, hey, think Schlatt might want to see this. And it was of Apollo talking about cheating on him with Sarek. And so obviously he was upset, and he confronted Apollo about it, and left them. He has split. He split not too long after that. But yeah, and then Apollo proceeded to go on and say that cheating isn't wrong, and then proceeded to deadname and misgender me, because that's not what God intended. God doesn't make mistakes. And then they've been trans and then detransitioned and are trans and detransitioned multiple times. That was at a moment where they detransitioned, and then they are trans again, so I'm very confused as to what they stand on right now. But yeah, then they started bribing us. They were like, hey, can I have Pyro and Sarek, and I'll give you $10 worth of Robux. I personally didn't want to take it, because I was uncomfortable with it, but Pyro took it, and didn't give anything in return, and this happened multiple times. Now, I will admit, we were the ones at fault for that. And then once Pyro split, other people started taking it, and didn't give anything in return, and at some point, we were done with it, because we didn't want to be around Apollo anymore. We were uncomfortable with it. So we told them that we didn't want anything else, because we had nothing else to give. Sarek is currently in a happy relationship, and Apollo keeps asking for him. Despite even his partner saying no. So, we have started to ghost Apollo, not respond to anything, and they have continuously sent us emails. They have made fake accounts on Discord to friend us. They have gone to YouTube. You can still see where I'm tagged on YouTube of them talking about me, lying about me, and calling me the obsessive one, where if you scroll through their community posts, all of their posts are about me except for 2. Sorry, there's a cut. My storage killed itself, basically. Where did I leave off? Oh yeah, mentioning me in YouTube posts, lying about me, calling me obsessive, and saying that we groomed them, and that we have a person of color altered just to say the N-word, when we do have a few, yes. The majority of them are fictives. And we have explained to them not to say that word. Because we are bodily white. We cannot say that word. And to my knowledge, none of them have. If they have, then obviously we will need to talk to them about it. But to my knowledge, that has never been said. And now they are continuously responding to my posts on my community page about, like, my little schlap figure, my 1,000 subscriber special that I canceled, everything like that. And then they're calling me obsessive because I made an announcement about this video. I wanted to get my story out so that people could, like, understand my side of everything, at least. And so that people could, like, understand why I may not be responding to this person anymore. And that's for my own safety and the purposes of, I don't want to give them more attention than they already have. Again, sorry for the cuts. My storage hates me. I didn't want to give them more attention than they already have gotten. I did leave a few detailed out, like the time that they doxed me on my own YouTube comment section, my first and last name by birth, the state I live in, and things like that. And then I deleted it, and they proceeded to tell everyone that they deleted it themselves, which annoyed me personally. And that they threatened to come to my home one day because I wouldn't give them what they wanted. And they lied about having a child, and things of the sorts. That's just the basics. If they come out with something against me, it's most likely something I can easily debunk. But yeah, I just wanted to make my personal situation known. I am the victim to being groomed. They're 17 now. And I just turned 15, by the way, and they're currently telling me to be looking for a job when they don't have one. And are telling me to grow up when they don't know how to. And things like that. Guys, support victims.